awarded recipients to 38. This year, the Hall of Fame Committee reviewed 27 submitted biographies. And in accordance with our charter, this included 11 individuals who were eligible to be considered from last year's list. Past honorees included many who were chosen because of their contribution to establishing Biddeford as a world-renowned manufacturer of sheets and blankets, or through philanthropy, and built many churches, schools, and hospitals that still stand today. And a high school, college, St. Francis College, now the UNE, with thanks and appreciation to Monsignor Arthur Descaries and his sibling, Father Zenon Descaries. Both of them were recipients and posthumous recipients. This location is now the University of New England with degree programs in osteopathic medicine, marine sciences, criminal justice, and other graduate studies and professional and doctorate degrees in various fields, including health, sciences, arts, and business. Who would have thought? Others, in recognition of their work, we honored all the female mill workers of the late 1800s through 1960s when the mill closed. More recently, one family was recognized for their work contributing to the growth of our social community. How many of you remember the Wonder Bar? The Jugitas brothers, oh, I love the hands up, you know. Hot turkey sandwiches after dancing at the parish hall. Many of the names of past recipients found in your brochure may be familiar to you and are fine examples of people who contributed to the growth of this community. I want to thank everyone for being here today. I also want to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for organizing this program, the first in our lovely high school little theater. Very happy we did this. I am pleased to mention our volunteers for this event. Diane Sear, our president, and her husband, Bob Sear. Dennis L'Italian, vice president, and his wife, Debbie L'Italian, who deserve special recognition. This couple started this program 7 years ago. And board members Chuck Cody, Mike Dakota, Paul Gagne, Claude Muhinda, and in addition, our community volunteer members who served on the selection committee. Dan Lamontagne, Charlotte Jakes, Diane Beaupre, Liam LaFountain, Brian Couric, and 3 board members. And this is pursuant to our charter also. Pat Boston also volunteered in the tally along with Dennis L'Italian and Chuck Cody. Honorees, both past and current, and their guests have been invited to a luncheon in the CAF following the program. Volunteers are Hussein Jabbar, that are known as Pepe, you'll see him there, and Violet Hussey. Many hours went into planning this event. We wish to also thank Superintendent Jeremy Ray for this lovely place that we're able to be here today. Administrative Secretary Carrie Egerton, Audiovisual Director Doug Stebbins, for their aid and suggestions to making this a pleasant venue in which to invite the public. Now, a little housekeeping as far as presentations. I want to describe what will happen today. As chair, I will read a short bio on each honoree. A lot of what's in that bio was submitted by the person who recommended the person that we're honoring today. That's how we get the names. Each will be invited to the podium, the honoree I mentioned, to receive a plaque from Mayor Marty Groman. A frame perpetual certificate of each recipient will be placed in the Hall of Fame wall which is located still in the Biddeford City Council chambers. Honorees will be presented with an engraved plaque to take home with them. Upon receiving this plaque, the recipient may make a comment if they so wish. I'll probably drag you over here and say thank you. Photographs, of course, photos are encouraged. We tried something different this year. That is the new honorary pin for all Hall of Fame recipients. And anytime you come back, we want you to wear that pin. The person who worked hard on that pin is Mike Dakota, who's on vacation right now or driving somewhere. And this is the first time we've done it away. And the pins are at the Biddeford Community Center. So we apologize for that. Everyone who's newly nominated today will receive a pin. And those of you who have been nominated and received in the past, all of you you each have a pin, so that all who are still with us today will receive a pin. A lot of work went into that. So, in conclusion, Mayor Groman, followed by President Sear, will each say a few words. I've saved the best for last. I don't know why I wrote that. I'm going to find out. Shortly, banners with the pictures of each recipient can be viewed on poles along Main and Lincoln Street. I believe what they do normally is after this happens, there's a few men on our committee who will be going to poles along the sidewalk and putting up the pictures of everyone you've seen when you were coming in. I think this year they're putting it on Lincoln Street too. In conclusion, let's be mindful that there is a common thread that binds us all together. I choke up when I say that. Many of our past recipients saw a need and did something. Again, this bears repeating. Our recipients saw a need and did something. Look at the list of today's honorees, listen carefully to their bios, and you'll come to the realization that they also saw a need and did something. To paraphrase a statement, there is no greater gift than to lay down one life for a friend. Well, there is no greater gift in Biddeford than to give of one's time, love, and self. Biddeford is rich in history and individuals who make it happen. Today's ceremony for our newest honorees is a clear example of Biddeford's Cultural and Heritage Center mission: to celebrate, to share, teach the culture, diversity, heritage, history of the city of Biddeford, its people, and surrounding area. So, without further ado, I will begin. I am honored to read the bios of our 2024 Hall of Fame recipients. If I can find it. Well, oh, there it is. Okay. I typed it all up and found out it's in the booklet. So I'll read it from the booklet. I believe the first one is Tammy. Okay. We should have had a music interlude between this. Tamsin Ackerman Bodwell, visionary, artist, downtown planner. When people discuss the art culture of Biddeford, the name Tammy Ackerman is always part of the conversation. Arriving in the community in 2004, she was awed by the mills and their historical significance. They weren't looking the way they do now. Tammy envisioned a place where culture and the arts could be celebrated and embraced. She created the nonprofit Engine, an arts and cultural center that today offers programs and events that engage people to converse, laugh, share their experiences of simply being human. Importantly, Engine became a marketing tool, branding Biddeford as an exciting place for visitors and entrepreneurs. Through her travels, Tammy had learned that, quote, the arts and culture help infuse energy and vitality. A community's growth started from there. People often forget when the downtown was a barren place with a few vibrant stores, a handful of restaurants, and empty streets. Today, it is the jewel of economic revitalization. Many of our honorees today should take credit for that also. The arts were the catalytic spark that triggered that renaissance of pride and excitement. Tammy is a believer that art can connect people from different cultures and perspectives. As board president of Heart of Biddeford and director of Engine, she worked tirelessly with numerous individuals to bring culture to life. Engine's The Rumpus and events showcase the talents and life stories of individuals of all ages, skills, and neighborhoods. Tammy was a leader in the conception of the York County Maker Fair, a STEAM event for youth and adults, and the founder of Fringe Fest that brought hundreds of people together on Main Street to celebrate community along with free pie and artist performances. In her view, everything revolves around the culture and the arts, because without culture, there is no commerce. Tammy believes it is important to celebrate, embrace, and advance culture because it provides the fertile soil needed to allow businesses to grow and prosper. Leaders of Biddeford and Saco recognized Tammy's achievements when the Biddeford Saco Chamber of Commerce and Industry awarded her the A. William Caney Leadership Award. She later, in 2019, received the Rotaries Club Private Sector Award. In December of 2019, she resigned her position with Engine, and in 2023, she opened Mill Pond Ceramic Studio, a small community studio in the North Dam Mill. It now has 90 members, strong with classes and workshops for adults of all abilities. Tammy is on her way now to probably New York. She just finished a couple of weeks in Wales, visiting in Scotland, and she has asked that her friend, Holly Cullerton, accept her plaque for her. Thank you. We'll have the mayor sit up front, maybe. Yes, no, go right ahead. That's beautiful. Yay, very good. And that's for Tammy? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I'd like to share a few words from Tamsin. And by the way, you all know her as Tammy, but I love her new name. It's great. I'd like to thank the Biddeford Cultural and Heritage Center for the great honor of being added to the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry I cannot attend the ceremony, but I'm grateful to my friend Holly for reading this in my absence. I'm very proud to have been considered a catalyst in Biddeford's evolution into a vibrant, thriving city that embraces its heritage while looking forward. Congratulations to the other awardees.
Alan Cassavant. Pregnant pause. civic leader, educator, mentor. In the early 2000s, Biddeford was struggling. Many buildings were vacant, and it seemed like the only activity was Riley's Bakery on a Saturday. People spoke about how vibrant downtown used to be and the exciting businesses were trying, but it didn't appear that there was hope of a comeback. Enter Alan Cassavant, a high school history teacher, a hockey and soccer coach, and a lifelong resident from Biddeford. With a master's degree in American and New England studies, he was fully capable of bringing Biddeford back to life. His public career included many years of service as a member of the Biddeford City Council. Many years. Very good years. He served as an elected member of the Maine State Legislature, serving Biddeford and Kennebunkport. And of course, he served honorably and effectively as Biddeford's mayor. Alan brought professionalism and business insight into Biddeford. Although very familiar with small-town politics, he brought politics and government to a new level. He knew the value of new business and industry. He also recognized the creative talent of city employees and believed in their abilities to excel. He also knew we had to expand our thinking to thrive. Alan had a vision for Biddeford. He knew what the downtown was like in the 50s and 60s. Not in the 40s? Okay. And he knew that it was possible to see his groundswell of activity happen again. He knew it was Biddeford's time to come up from the ashes and shine. He also knew about history. He knew where Biddeford came from. She was full of merchant princes, industrialists, brilliant inventors, and statesmen. He knew generations of people who worked in the mills. He knew how clever and how working they were. He also knew and took pride in their work and in their community. Alan welcomed new arrivals to Biddeford, respecting and encouraging these new residents, honoring their customs and heritage. It is the combination of all these attributes that made Alan a real change agent for our community. We would not have the success that we experience today without his leadership. I'd like to welcome and introduce you to Alan Cassavant. You two know each other?
I think it's my first speech since retirement. Definitely the first time since I've worn a suit since retirement. That, usually it's just blue jeans. I want to thank Diane and Susan and everybody else as part of the committee. Those of you that know me probably realize this is really awkward for me because I hate having the focus on me. I like to distribute it to everybody else, but I don't like it for myself. And as I think back to what was just said, you're right. I am old. There's certainly, it's like a blink of an eye, but I look back of all the different things. And one of the things that strikes me is that when I was graduating from Biddeford High School, I was leaning against a wall in my history class, kind of slumped there, bored out of my mind, saying to myself, I am not coming back. I wanted to escape. But there was a funny thing that happened in the way, sort of like the Grateful Dead thing, what a long, strange road has been, or something to that effect. As I went through college, I began to realize that it was the people here in Biddeford that I really, really enjoyed being with. And so I ended up teaching at Biddeford High School for 34 years, even though when I started, I swore it would be like 2 or 3. But I enjoyed the kids so much and the parents so much, I stuck around and did the coaching and things like that. And then Dave Redmond got me involved in politics, saying something to the effect, don't worry about it, you can handle this. And you got to understand that anytime I ran for anything in high school, I lost. But I liked that too, and the common denominator was always like, I enjoyed helping people. And there was a commonality between politics and teaching. It was the same thing, except in politics, the students were always older. But it was still the same idea, to try to teach and repeat until the dots were connected. And it was always for the betterment of all the people. Even though people might disagree with me, I mean, it's not like the polarization of today where everybody, if you don't like what somebody says, all of a sudden you despise them. It was a different breed, coming up where it was more working relationships and things of that nature. So politics worked for me, teaching worked for me, and what I tried to do is actually, I was kind of a thief in a way, because in all my different stops, whether it was a teacher or a legislator or a mayor or a counselor, I borrowed from everybody else, and I thought if somebody had a particular trait, I stole it. So for example, with teaching, I stole from Dick Jakes and Roger Penshaw because they use humor in the classroom. As a counselor, I stole from Mike Bergeron because when I first came in, he was just so good at researching. As mayor, I stole from Michael because his horrible dry wit cracked up usually in the worst meetings, it just made things easier. And I stole from Bonnie because she always used to do diligence in terms of finding things to do. When I played hockey, I tried to steal from Jimmy Gutbu, but I decided that wasn't going to work. But sincerely, I think it all boils down to this, is that I used to talk about a particular book, it was called Tuesdays with Maury, in which the author talks about Maury Schwartz, and Maury Schwartz says something to the effect, if you really want true happiness, help people, because when you get it back, you feel it. It's not possessions, it's not money, it's the idea of giving that's so essential. And then I look back, for those of you, for example, that went to St. Mary's Church, you might remember a guy named Father Goen. And Father Goen, when you went to confession, guaranteed everything he would say, 7 Our Fathers, 7 Hail Marys, do the best you can. Do the best you can. And that's what I tried to do, even if I flopped. And I always remember the other mantra, my sister Kippy, who died when she was 9. Whenever she did something good, she said something to the effect, no talent, just pride. In other words, do the best you can. And so I ask all of you today, at least in terms of the crazy political stuff that we see and the ripping apart of communities and friendships and families, that you do exactly that. Do the best you can. Thanks.
I noticed there was one thing missing, because when he spoke about he liked getting involved because he enjoyed the people. On the Biddeford Cultural and Heritage Group, I have been appointed a job, and that's to archive the Société Saint-Jean-Baptiste, a society that started in Canada, in this hemisphere, and came to Maine in Biddeford in 1880. And you weren't there then. But what I found out, and the ledgers start in 1880 till about just a few years ago, it's disbanded, but the purpose of meeting were gentlemen who wanted to keep the French language alive, and also the religion. It was, can you imagine, in 1880s and the 1900s, the mills were going, French people weren't in charge, but they were doing the work. But I giggled when I read those ledgers, and they were all in French. And at the end, in the last maybe 15, 20 years, Alan was a member of that group. And I thought for a guy who can only say oui and merci, he did very well. So I wanted to add that anyways. So we're alive in Biddeford Cultural and Heritage. We're doing a lot of archiving, so. The next one, you've met her, Holly Cullerton. Holly Cullerton, we've labeled her with being a master gardener and a social advocate. Holly Cullerton has, excuse me, I'll get on the mic, has a long established relationship with Biddeford. Beginning in 2001 with the opening of her well-loved Main Street restaurant, BB Burritos, terrific. She would regularly open her space for after-hours get-togethers with local artists and would hold community Thanksgiving potluck dinners for staff and locals. Holly was active in the movement to revitalize downtown Biddeford and was a key player in the formation of the Heart of Biddeford, serving as a longtime member of the Board of Directors, chair of its design committee, and a 2-year term as board president. Holly moved to Biddeford in 2006, and the following year embarked on a 10-year journey as a classroom facilitator with Violence No More, helping the male participants explore patterns of domestic violence and learn nonviolent coping and conflict resolution skills. In 2012, Holly helped found Heart of Biddeford's Adopt a Park program, which you mentioned Holly's name, it's the first thing you think of recently. The Adopt a Park program to assist the city with the care and maintenance of our local public parks from spring to fall, and was program coordinator for 13 years. Following the death of George Floyd in 2020, Holly, a dedicated community activist, co-founded Biddeford Saco area Showing Up for Racial Justice. The 135-member group focuses on anti-racism work and led its first Black History walking tour in 2024 with over 90 people in attendance. Holly powered the development of Biddeford's community gardens for people to grow vegetables and flowers, which began in 2012 with the Pearsons Lane Children's Garden. Those who aren't familiar with that, when I heard this, when it happened, I thought, wow, anybody could have thought of that, and you brought it in. If you know Pearsons Lane, it's very built up, and there was this piece of lawn, or not lawn, dirt area, and it was just there. To get the kids who live in that low-income neighborhood to learn how to plant and grow food was amazing. She became a certified master gardener, and in 2018, she co-founded Biddeford Community Gardens with the creation of the Mission Hill Community Garden, followed by expansions into Williams Court and the Rotary Park. In 2023, Biddeford Community Gardens donated 1,300 pounds of fresh vegetables to the Biddeford Food Pantry, Bon Appetit, and Youthful Maine. In 2020, Holly was the Volunteer of the Year for Biddeford's Spirit of America Award. I welcome and would like Holly to join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. I'm so honored to have been selected for this year's Biddeford Cultural Heritage Center's Hall of Fame. Over the last 20-plus years as a business owner, Heart of Biddeford board member, facilitator at Violence No More, and director of Biddeford Community Gardens, I've had the privilege of working with some amazing people. Excuse me. And I believe that we all feel the same about Biddeford, that it's worth our time and energy to make it the best we can for all who live here. Thank you.
Can't say we don't have a heart. Very good. Hall of Fame isn't limited to just the border of Biddeford. I think we reached out to Saco with these two. I should say Jim and Lynn Godbout. Humanitarians, community spirited. It gives me a good feeling inside to help others. We're only here a very short time. See what you can do to make a difference in someone else's life. Is that Jim Godbout? It also is shared by his wife, Lynn. Lynn and Jim Godbout live those words and define what it means to be part of the community. As a team, their fingerprints are everywhere through their work and donations. They give of themselves, their time, their talents, and their hearts. They are pillars of the community and have been for many years. The Godbouts played a crucial role in the renovation of the Waterhouse Field. What a community project that was. A project that revitalized one of the city's most important athletic facilities. Leading by example, their volunteerism provided the catalyst for an army of skilled workers to assure that future generations of Biddeford's youth will have a top quality venue for sports and community events. More recently, Lynn and Jim have been deeply involved in the redevelopment of the historic St. Andre's Church and its conversion into what will soon become the My Place Teen Center. Many people dismiss this renovation as impossible, but the Godbouts believed in the mission of the My Place Teen Center in providing a nurturing environment for our city's youth, and their leadership and energy brought people together to magnificently secure the vision of the project. Jim and Lynn are devoted to improving the quality of life for others. They have been instrumental in ensuring that families stay warm during Maine's harsh winters. Jim has provided emergency plumbing and heating services to those in need, often at no cost. Spearheading a project with the Regional Center for Technology, Jim helped secure tax-acquired properties from the city, and with student involvement and his mentoring, created affordable housing. He's not done. Since 1998, they have also been stalwart members of the Biddeford Saco Rotary Club, contributing thousands of hours to various community service projects. Their dedication to the Rotary's mission of service above self is evident in every aspect of their volunteer work. It's evident in them. Having seen the devastation of substance abuse among family and friends, the Godbouts have been committed to youth drug prevention through their active participation in Rotary's Red Ribbon Committee. Their efforts in this area demonstrate their dedication for encouraging healthy and thriving behaviors without the harmful influences of misuse substances. Whenever the community needs volunteers, Jim and Lynn are there. Whether it's Lynn's work with Esther House, and these are women who have been released from incarceration or have a substance use problem, or Jim's with the Biddeford Athletic Association, they are willing to help. Their selfless service has touched numerous aspects of life in Biddeford, from education to recreation to social services. One group. Quite simply, their tireless efforts have consistently made a tangible difference in the lives of countless Biddeford residents and have helped to make our city a better place in which to live. I am honored again to welcome Jim and Lynn Gadou. I guess it didn't work that we saved seats for you in the front here.
Well, I'm a better listener than a speaker, so. And the one thing I will say, though, today is that I'm very honored, we're both very honored to be a part of this cultural heritage group, and we're very honored to be a part of this community, which we have been for a very long time. And I hope that we all continue to share the values that we have all instilled in others, because we all definitely can make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
I was wondering, I wanted to hear from you. Very good. Next year, I want a bottle of water up here. Or a bottle anyway, so. Dr. Michael Gignard, historian, author, preserver of culture. Growing up in a bilingual Franco-American family, Michael Gignard graduated in 1965 from St. Louis High School and utilized his heritage and love of community to capture the essence of local culture through his doctoral Franco research and its eventual conversion into a book published in 1982, La foi, la langue, la culture, The Franco-Americans of Biddeford, Maine. The dedication reads, to my parents, Rella and Wilford Gignard, who toiled at the pepper mill to ensure that I would not become a mill worker. He holds a PhD and a master's degree in social science from Syracuse University and a BA in government from Bowdoin College. He is fluent in Spanish, French, and a working knowledge of Italian. Dr. Gignard's career focused on immigration, initially as the U.S. Consul with the State Department in Montreal, Canada, where he issued immigrant visas for those wishing to settle in the U.S. He also served in Costa Rica, Japan, and Italy. Retiring after 17 years with the State Department, he worked as an immigration specialist with a law firm. He continues today to help immigrants as needed. Michael has published many articles on individuals of Franco heritage, including, I think, Urbain Ledoux, who is also has received, last year received the award, Urbain Ledoux, very long time ago. Also known as Mr. Zero, the De Carey brothers, the Good Shepherd sisters, Curé Jean-Paul Sardin, the first priest of St. Joseph Church, right, I think. St. Andre's Home for Unwed Mothers, when's the last time you heard that title? And Maine's Corporation Soul Controversy, which won the Maine Historical Society's Best Essay in '72. Michael has always stressed the role of Biddeford in his stories. Urbain Ledoux, for example, had dozens of articles written about him, but seldom was his hometown mentioned. Michael corrected that omission. He is currently writing an article on Eloise Pinchot-Reneuf, who lived from 1872 to 1959. The middle name is Pinchot, you know that? A very talented singer, songwriter, musician, and music teacher. Dr. Guignard has also served on the board of the St. Francis College's French-Canadian Institute and did research on La Justice, Biddeford's French newspaper, for the Institute. Tanya Chevenel, who made a film about her father's retracing of the route that Israel Chevenel, who we also honored a few years ago, he walked from Canada to reach Biddeford, and his daughter did a film about that. Once said that Michael's article about Israel gave her the idea to embark on the project. In 2007, Dr. Guignard was awarded the Biddeford Historical Society's Georgia Truslow Memorial Award for outstanding dedication and service in the preservation of Biddeford, Maine history. I'm glad to welcome you back to Maine right now. So, Dr. Guignard, please join us.
I'm the last one between the speaker and the luncheon that's going to be served, so I'll be brief. Can you all hear me? Okay. I want to thank everyone from the Biddeford Cultural and Heritage Center. They've worked hard, and I've worked on a couple of little things for them, and they do a good job. This event here is, and they've been doing it for 7 years now. It's a very good event, and it gives recognition to people whose work sometimes goes unnoticed. I also want to thank the person who nominated me for induction, my sister-in-law, Helen McGinnis. And the reason she did it, because we always stay at her home when we come and visit. And she would always tease me because I spent all my time in the library, which I love to do. And I thank you for that, Helen. I want to say that I'm truly humbled and truly honored to be inducted today in the Hall of Fame. Thank you.
I love it when someone shakes my hand and says, "On va parler." Yeah, we'll talk. That sounds like we conclude, but we're almost there. I do want to recognize people, special people, people who have received the honorees, and they're with us here today. In 2019, Dr. Norman Beaupre received, he's with us today. In 2021, I almost said the honorable, but it is. Michael Cantera is with us today. And in 2022, we have Ray Gagne joining us, our former fire chief, and Benita Pothier, our first female mayor, is with us today. And last year, we honored Paul Gagne, who's a longtime member of Biddeford Cultural, who he pays the bills. We give him the money, he fixes the books. Well, he doesn't fix them, but did I say that? It's a term we use in prison, I know that. So, I want to welcome, and I'm glad you've joined us today, and you're all invited, of course, for our lunch. And I see someone else that I'm glad to see. Alan Tebow, who represents the University of New England, is with us today. So I'm glad University of New England stays connected with us too. Thank you. My alma mater, when it was St. Francis College. So I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Marty Groman. And we'll have Diane, if you wish to, please.
Thank you, Susan. Amazing job. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you to the board, to Diane and Chuck and Claude and everything that Biddeford Culture and Heritage Center represents and has done for us. I'm wearing my bracelet that you gave out at the Bridging the Divide event 3 or 4 weeks ago, which was just an amazing thing to be able to be part of. I just want to update you, and talk a little bit about what we have going here in our great city. There's so many good things going on. We're on our 12th straight year of enrollment growth in our schools. Isn't that incredible? We're opening a new school. In fact, there's a grand opening of the Center of Technology connected to this building on Tuesday the 29th at 9:30 a.m. Please join for that. The governor's coming. We just broke ground on another school, in addition to Biddeford Primary School. Renovations at City Hall, which I'm fond of taking credit for, but actually we have Alan to thank, are going extremely well, and they're almost done. I'm sure we're all really proud of that gold dome that represents Biddeford's grit and determination. I know that I am. We have 1,952 units of housing in some form in the permitting process here in Biddeford, including 252 that are defined affordable. I want to thank and call out the contributions of the council president, Liam LaFountain, for his tireless efforts in that direction. Thank you, Liam. So when you hear something negative about Biddeford, just try this party trick. Give a list of main cities and ask which one would you say is doing well? Bangor, Portland, Lewiston Auburn, Rumford, Waterville, or Biddeford? See what people say. They're always going to say Biddeford, aren't they? There's people who thrive on pointing out the mistakes of others, who get some kind of satisfaction out of that. Those people are not in this room. And there's people who just get to work when they see a problem, and they fix it, and they set things in the right direction. We're in the presence of that, and I can feel it. So be proud. I'm proud of Biddeford. Thanks for preserving our heritage. Thanks for this wonderful ceremony. I'm honored to be part of it. Back to you, Susan.
Diane? Our president, Diane, talk about someone working tirelessly. Your husband's out back if you want to see him.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming here today. I really appreciate it. And what do you think about how great is it to be here? We live in the best city, the best community around. And it wouldn't be possible without all of you doing what you do every single day and not taking any credit for it. And I thank you so much for that. I just want to recognize a few special guests, and Susan already did. We try hard to work with others in the community. We work with the schools. But I did want to say thank you, Alan Tebow, for being here today, and also to all our our past inductees and current members of the Biddeford Hall of Fame who have come today. And you'll see that they're wearing white carnations, which is something new that we've started this year. So the white carnations signify former members, and the red carnations signify the people that are being inducted. So that's it for that. I'm not a great public speaker. I say this all the time, and a lot of you know that. So I do want to take a minute to thank especially our new chair. I don't know where, oh, there she is. Susan Deschamps. Susan's done an excellent job with this. This is the first year we do it here. Hopefully it'll be a little more packed next year because it's a bigger venue, so it's open to the public. And all you people who are inducted today are invited next year again to participate. So I want to do a special thanks to Susan, Doug Stebbins, who's helped us with everything, setting up and everything today, as well as all of our great volunteers, because without our volunteers, we would not do anything. And thank you, Michael, for coming all the way from Virginia, right? Virginia, yeah. I keep thinking Washington, D.C., but okay. And thank you, everyone. So that said, before I forget, a couple of things. Please feel free when we're done to come up and take pictures by your, however many pictures you want, by your posters here. And I've been asked to let those of you who are inductees know that you can take those posters, are yours to take with you. Usually we have the real banners hanging, but you will find that they're out hanging them on the streets right now, so they should be there when you leave here. And we do have a small luncheon. I'm really sorry about the pins, but we'll get them to you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. We have a luncheon, and it was for honorees and their guests, and I see by the numbers, I think we have a lot of food. I know the pastries are great. I picked those out. I just wanted to remind you and let you know, she said this is the Biddeford Cultural. We're not here to honor ourselves. I've been a member maybe for 3 years, but this is the first time I've chaired something. I've worked in the archives. And to see how these little munchkins work is amazing. They know each other well. Someone brings tablecloths, someone brings easels, I don't know how it works, but that makes a team. And like former Mayor Casavan said, it's the people, and we are the people. We're the ones who work the hardest, not us, what you guys do. But just to put on this event, I'm amazed of the people that I sit with every month on a committee. So look us up. Please, you don't have to be a board member. We won't make you do anything. This is a little commercial. Come and sit in on one meeting. Let us show you that little room in the back. That's the archives. People give us archives. Someone even donated their jackets and all their pins from a motorcycle team. I mean, that's part of Biddeford. Who would have thought of that? So I wish you well, and I thank you all for coming, and please join us down the end of the hall. Thank you.